All right, Salam Alaikum. Suleiman Raheem here. Welcome. Let's slay some demons. Sisters and brothers, this is the last day of January 2021, the year of our deliverance. Many things are going on. So, we're going to try to define this in a mathematical way, but that's what it's all about. The scripts are mathematical books. I try to impress that. What I've been trying to do is bring you up to mathematical consciousness. I've been teaching the Angel, but the object is to get you back to your mathematical mind. So that's what we're going to try to do here. So let's proceed. God Magog, 2021, Atomic War. Firstly, brothers and sisters, America primarily and all of European countries are in crisis. The world is in crisis, but specifically European countries and more specifically America, at the center of the crisis. It's the main target. As Elijah Muhammad taught, America is the first target, the main target, because of our being here. All America's institutions are being stress tested, under stress, under extreme pressure, and they're not holding up well. The pressure is increasing. Now we see the financial institution, which is the basis of their power, is under attack. As I told you, this is the year of insurrection, so everything is being tested. The whole everything, every aspect. That shows you that's the way pressure works. Pressure works comprehensively. See, force is like a bullet. It hits one spot, but pressure puts the whole body right under. See, whole body is affected. That's the nature of pressure, and pressure is the science of mathematics. How to apply it, because everything is mathematics, but you need science to how to apply it. Otherwise, it's just a fog. It's just formless. We had to take and give form to formlessness. Energy is just energy, but we gave it form. That's the physical universe. We gave it form. We did that. No mystery God did that. We did it. But now we have to be put back in contact with that again. But we see our main enemy is under extreme pressure. Pressure is good for us. It's not good for them. We thrive under pressure. Pressure causes us to reorganize into greater and greater and better form, greater and better structure. Transforms coal into diamonds. But in this case, pressure is transforming coal into dust as far as they're concerned. That's why it says in scripture, it says they'll be crushed to dust, but we'll be transformed to diamond. You see that the pressure there is always pressure. If you understand, it's always It's just pressure they're talking about. If you understand pressure, that's the underlying principle all Scripture is based on. And we understand pressure, then you can start reading Scripture. The reason why they can't understand Scripture because they don't understand the underlying principle behind the Scripture, which is pressure. Once you understand the underlying principle behind Scripture, then you can understand what they're talking about in Scripture, what they talk about, what's going on there. See, a great transformation, but this transformation has two paths. For one, it's a positive transformation, a constructive transformation. For the other, it's a destructive transformation. One is transformed into a diamond, and one is transformed to dust. Both happen at the same time. So it's planned that way. But this is what we are right now. They're on the extreme. And the thing is that, as I've been saying, when you're under pressure, there's one or two things you can do. You can transform or strengthen yourself to withstand. In other words, strengthen yourself to deal with the pressure. Or you can eliminate the pressure. You can go to the gym and get stronger where you can deal with the pressure. See? Or you can get rid of that what's causing the pressure. It's two possibilities. See? That's if you want to survive the pressure. Otherwise, if it's a crushing pressure. So when you reach that threshold of transformation, you have to decide whether you want to transform or you want to eliminate the pressure that's causing the transformation. And we understand that means that's either war, that's eliminate the forces, that's the pressure that's causing transformation, or transform. America already failed the transformation process because that was the transformative figure, Mr. Trump. He was trying to transform America, make America great again. They failed that. But the pressure still exists and is increasing. So since they will not reform, transform constructively, the only option they have now is to eliminate the pressure that's causing them to have to transform. That's why this year will be the year of war. They've had their transformation period. 4 years, that was their last chance, the time of decision. It wouldn't have worked anyway because they've run out of there like a cat has 9 lives. They've used all their lives. The last one they had, the last major one they had was the Renaissance 500 years ago. They made a complete transformation to what you see to now. But they don't have the ability to transform again. So either way leads to destruction for them. But they had a possibility with Mr. Trump because he was trying to transform America from within. And they failed. So the only choice they have is to take and eliminate the forces that's causing the pressure that's causing them to have to transform. So understand that and just look around. The educational system now, the extreme, look, they're fighting about the educational system, right? That's under extreme stress. The financial system, the political system. Look, you never see politics like this. They're going at each other with viciousness. You never see anything like this. And every aspect is tense. Every institution, everyone, education, industrial, military, you name it, all of it. Finance, political, you name it. Everyone. And now you got the workers, right? They're because he's making all these policies that's destroying these people's jobs. All the while he's promising all these things to you poor black folks, and you don't understand the trick, the trap. See? Because that's been their plan all the time since the Civil War. They lost on the battlefield, so now they figure they're going to take and control, gain their victory on the political field. See? In the political arena. So the whole idea is to set you up. But they need your help. Because it's all about politics, all about votes and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, they have to keep you down. See, keep your population down. See, abortion. See, and then have to have the demons, that's their children, to work with them, to keep you down. to fool you. You don't understand what's going on. See? They're the house Negroes. Oh, everything's okay. Listen to Master. He's going to take care of you. But look at their policies. Their policies been destructive to you ever since. So-called, Jim Crow, and now you got the political thing, the Democratic Party. Look at your cities. Detroit is a basket case. Who did that? Mr. Bill Clinton. Look at all your prisons, putting you back in prisons. See? Sending all your jobs, so now you're poor. Only ones benefit is their demon. They're giving their perks, their demons, their children, their black-faced children. They're the ones doing okay because they've been paid off to keep you down. Until they gain political power, they finally get rid of you. Said it will come as a snare. You don't understand. And now all of a sudden they love you so much. And it's oh, we got to take care of black people. We love you so much. So, you know. It says that's their plan. It tells you their plan is to get rid of you. See, because you're the pressure from within. Remember, they have to get rid of pressure that's causing them to transform. So they got the pressure within and the pressure without. You're the pressure within. If you're under pressure, understand concept, simple concept. You're under pressure. The only thing you can do is reorganize to handle pressure. Be strong enough, make yourself strong enough to handle pressure. Go to the gym and get strong, handle pressure, or eliminate what's causing the pressure. So since they can't transform, right? But where's the pressure coming from? It's from within and without. They said it's so within and so without. And you're the pressure from within. So they have to go to war with China and Russia to eliminate those countries and Iran that's causing the pressure on America. Eliminate them. That's what war is. See? But they also have to get rid of you because you're the pressure from within. Because if you survive, Elijah Muhammad sent a message. They never forgot. Because they saw what he was able to do. And if you was to reorganize, right? They don't want that kind of structure in America. That means you cause us change in America. They don't want America living like that. They don't want the women walking around modest, taking care. The men not drinking, not smoking. You understand? They don't want that. They don't want Islam here. But if you grow and you transform, right? You put pressure on America. They don't want that kind of that reality here. Do you understand? They don't want that reality here. But Elijah Muhammad showed that that's your reality, your true reality. So they had to shut that down. They had to shut that down. But they don't want that here. Because if you keep growing and you're going fast, that means America eventually transform like that. They don't want that here. You understand? You cause the transformation of America. They don't want that here. So they shut it down. They said, Ryan Farrakhan over here to make sure it stay down. They put a lid on it. This whole thing's put a lid on it. They ain't devils no more, right? They put devils in NI. You understand? We can't call them devils no more and all this kind of stuff, right? And we're going to stay here. We ain't leaving the plantation. You don't get it? That's the whole thing. He's supposed to put a lid on it. Just listen to what he says. And all his demons. That's the whole idea behind all of this. There's a simple pressure is very simple. Like I said, the simplicity of Christ, which means when you got the wisdom, everything becomes simple. I got a saying, complex minds simplify, simple minds complicate. Simple minds, everything's complicated. But complex minds, everything's simple. When you understand pressure, it's very simple. Very simple concept. You understand? Very simple. If you're under pressure, either be strong, reorganize yourself to withstand the pressure so it doesn't bother you anymore. Or get rid of the pressure that's causing you to transform. And the transformative, Elijah Muhammad showed that. And that scared them. We're transformative figure, right, within America. And China and all and Russia, they're transformative because they got governments America don't lack outside. And they had to get rid of that because pressure's building on them. They keep talking war, Iran, China, and Russia, they keep talking about it. And they don't want to talk about it here with you, but that's what they're planning because they can't tell you within, because they know you could bring this country down with them if you wake up in time before they take you out. That's what it means. They have to get rid of you within. See? You see, Farrakhan's not doing anything to cause any change in chest. He tore everything Elijah Muhammad built. He tore it down. He's not trying to build anything. He's not a transformative figure in America. He's just talking. He's talking. But he's not doing anything. And everything he's saying is, oh, well, we're going to stay in America. We're going to heal America. You see? So think about that, brothers and sisters. So we're going to move into our presentation. Let's take a short break here. Okay, brothers and sisters, like I said, we're going to try to talk about this in a mathematical way. Understand how scriptures work, because scriptures, when you understand pressure, our reality, when I say the whole universe is nothing but mathematics, and pressure is the form of mathematics that the universe takes. Pressure is mathematics. So everything is pressure. Pressure's opposite pressure is tension. So the universe is in a state of tension that pulls things apart, push things together. Pressure's pushing together, tension's pushing apart, pulling it apart. But it's the same concept, it's just opposites. So you understand that, then our reality is pressure. So it takes pressure to change pressure. A greater pressure pushes out lower pressure. Everybody that understands anything about pressure understands that. Greater pressure dispels lower pressure. Lower pressure cannot resist a greater pressure, period. You understand that? Because your thoughts are pressure, right? Thought of pressure and force is the same thing. Pressure, I keep saying it, pressure is just force spread out. So it takes force to move anything. So in order to move your body, it takes thought. That means thought must be force, must be pressure. And it's our thoughts that change reality. Everything you see around you came as a result of thought. Everything you see around you right now came as a result of thought. All this technology, everything comes as a result of thought, period. And it's all mathematics. There's nothing around you that is not under the control of mathematics. Everything around you is mathematics. everything that exists around you came from thought. So it's all pressure. So the thing is that once you understand that, then you understand scripture, right? Books, right? They're pressure. They're atoms. ATTO, and all books are atoms, because it has thought in it. You know, it has to be released when you read. You release that thought when you read those books, with some more powerful than others. Right? A helium bomb would be very weak, right? Where a uranium has a lot of energy in it. Helium has this little atom, has simple atom, has little energy in it. But uranium got a lot of energy. That's why our allegorical language, right, is because it's like that, because you have to break it out, you have to figure it out. It means it's got a lot of energy. You got to split it. It's like splitting an atom, right? That's why you see the Quran and the Bible and things written allegorical language, because it means it's got a lot of energy in it, right? It's like popcorn. You put it, and then you got a whole, so there's a lot of energy. When you open it up, you see all this stuff, right? All this, you know, all these ideas come out a little bit. They come out, all ideas that come out of that little book. Look at the Injil, 22 chapters, very small. But look, when you start getting to see all this information in it, that means that's energy. That's the power, pressure in it. It means a super bomb. So understanding that. And so that's what scriptures are. What happens is that the scientists, they look down through time, they see what the time, because time's always changing. The universe constantly changing, time always changing. And they look, okay, man, and so what is going to need to deal with this particular situation? So they send you this atom, ATTOM, bomb, right, to change reality, right? So you can survive that situation, be successful in that situation. That's what it's all. Bottom line, that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. Let me check something here right quick. Okay, I see. Okay, that's okay. So, they change the reality, and that's what it takes. Since reality is pressure, you need a pressure bomb to change the reality. See? Just like you go in and your house is cold, right? When you turn on the stove or heat, the heat to change reality, to warm it up. So you can be successful, be comfortable in it. So they send you the atomic bomb that you need to change reality to be successful and happy in that situation. That's what these are. I mean, this is not an analogy. This is what they are. I call them atom bombs, ATTOM, atom bombs. And just give you a simple, now you take a thermonuclear bomb, right, that KV is able to make, right? Same concept, right? But they use it for destructive means in war, right? But we use it for war too. But see, we have the ultimate bombs. Ours change total reality. This has a destructive effect on reality, but it doesn't really change reality. Now, we change the whole reality. So ours is more powerful. You keep thinking, oh, atomic bombs are powerful. But you understand, Scripture is more powerful. Scriptures change all total reality. We're going to talk about that. So just a little understanding how a bomb works. You have military fission. Fission means pulling things apart. That's tension, opposite of pressure. Fusion is pushing together. They use two concepts. See, it's the same over here. They use two concepts together to make the thermonuclear bomb. Because the outside bomb is a fission bomb, pulls things apart. That's uranium, because it explodes. But the inside bomb is a fusion bomb, because that explosion causes the stuff in the middle to fuse, puts on intense pressure. See, but when you put something on intense pressure, you have to hold it there, otherwise it's going to explode too. And that's how they get a nuclear, that's the science behind a nuclear bomb. Fission bombs outside, they explode that. When they explode that, it creates so much pressure on the inner one, right, which is just hydrogen atoms, that it causes them to fuse. But there's nothing to hold them there. So once they fuse, right, it's like you put it on a screen. If you push it, it's going to stay down as long as you hold it. If you let loose, it's going, that's what happens there. Push it down, but then there's nothing to hold it. Then you got a bigger bomb. That's the idea behind it. Okay? So let's move on, brothers and sisters. I'm trying not to be too lengthy here. Okay, we're going to start back with this process because what happened is that, let's see, that God can make God, because the scientists set a very complicated bomb, very complicated one, right? The end times, right? It's this, because they wanted to change the universe, change the universal reality. And to do that, they need a very powerful bomb to do that. Like I said, in other words, to get that, the most powerful bomb, the fusion bomb, to explode, you need to have a fission bomb to explode, right? To create the pressure, the environment for the greater bomb to explode. And so that same thing, that's what scientists did, right? Because they wanted to create or make a bomb, right, that was going to change, or make a universal change. And it required intense pressure. But in this case, it required like three levels of pressure, 3 bombs. That's how powerful it had to be in order to make this happen. So we start out with the Roman Empire, right? That's where a decision was made to start the process. And the first stage was Prophet Jesus, right, 2,000 years ago. So he ignited the first level. See, the first level. That was the Bible, the sealed Bible. That's ignited the first one. See, which brought down the Roman Empire. It brought the Roman Empire down. So that happened 0 BC. BC means before Christ, AD after death. So he ignited, that's the Bible, and it brought down the Roman Empire. Was the greatest empire in the European theater at that time. So it needed to start, the process started right there. It ignited and it brought down the Roman Empire, right? That was called Christianity. That's non-mathematical Christianity. They gave him the Bible as a sealed Bible. See, it was just dogma, but non-mathematical. But it was enough to bring down the Roman Empire. That started the process. That was the first stage of this explosion. See, that explosion changed the reality of the times. So then that brought on the period that brought on the Christians. And for 500 years, it took 500 years for this process. That explosion, 500 years, it changed the reality of Europe. For 500 years. I think I jumped the gun here anyway, but let's see. Yeah, okay. Which brought on the Islamic Empire. That was the second stage. See? And that brought on the Crusaders. So let me get this. Second stage was Prophet Muhammad. He ignited the second, right? Islamic, Quran, non-Islamic Islam. I mean, non-mathematical Islam. Well, in some cases, Sunnism is non-Islamic, but anyway, non-mathematical Islam. That's the Islamic Empire. It locked up the previous one, the Christian Empire, the one that Prophet Jesus ignited. So it brought that one down and changed reality. Reality was changed. So it went from the Roman Empire reality to the Christian reality to Islamic reality. See, a precious building, precious building. See? So you have a different reality now. And this reality, see, the Christian reality kept the Roman Empire bowed up because it split up in two parts. But then the Islamic Empire kept the Christian reality locked up in Europe for 1,000 years. Each explosion is more powerful than one before because this one reached down into Africa. So it was two resurrections. They don't talk about both of them. One the Arabs and one the Ishmael and Isaac's. We're Isaac. That's northern West Africa. They was how did they become Muslims? They was resurrected also by Prophet Muhammad. But the Arabs make you think that only they was the only ones. Arabs make you think they was the only ones resurrected. No. How did the blacks in Africa become Muslim? Because they was resurrected also. Both was resurrected. Because that bomb, that explosion, right? It was an explosion. It was both of them, Christian, that was an explosion on Europe. Exploded. And the explosion, right, displaced the Roman Empire. And then it came along, the Islamic Empire exploded, right? And it controlled, it pushed out the Christian Empire, locked them up. These were explosions. See, the world changed. See? So that was the Quran. First you had to unlock the sealed Bible. Then you had the Quran, right? Non-mathematical Quran, non-mathematical Christianity. See? Then you move into the mathematical. Then you go to mathematical Christianity as Gog and Magog. See? It's another explosion. That changed reality. Now this is the reality you have. And what it did, it bowed up all three. It bowed up the Islamic Empire, right? The Christian Empire, the old Christian Empire, the church, because that's the church represents the old Christian Empire. And the old Roman Empire bowed them all up because explosion was greater. So it changed reality. Now this is the prevailing reality. You understand? And these were explosions. See, you measure explosion like something happened real fast. The sun is exploding. If you understand pressure, the sun is exploding. But it takes billions of years for the explosion to complete. See, you look at explosion like no. Some things explode like slow, like you might think slow motion, depending on the situation. Some quick time bombs, right? But these are explosions. Explosion is anything that expands, exploding. You don't say how fast it is. See, that's why you got to understand mathematics, because your assumption is that's the assumption you're making. Oh, well, explosion got fast. Who said that'd be fast? No. Anything that expanding, that's what explosion means. Exploding, expanding. That's where explosion comes from. Expanding, exploding. These were explosions. Atomic explosion. ATTOMIC. IC. Atomic explosion with double T. See, these came on. How did they come on? They come on by themselves. They come on because somebody prophesied it. It came on because these people mind changed. They had a mind change. How did mind change? Because of scripture. Because you had, in the case of the British, right? You had so-called Sir Isaac Newton. He was a very religious person, but he was able to translate the Bible into mathematical principles. And that's why I call it mathematical Christianity. You reap what you sow. Same thing, every action has an opposite equal reaction, which is a primary principle of all his mathematics. Every action has an opposite equal reaction. You reap what you sow. That's all he did. And so he unleashed that bomb. The mathematical Christianity was transformed. It was a bigger transformation, bigger explosion than the Islamic Empire. The Islamic Empire was a bigger explosion, right, than the Christian Empire. See, then you come, right? See, each one's get bigger because they're trying to get big, this big explosion. See, because they want to get to the one at the bottom in the center. They want that to explode. That one, they need all these explosions to be that powerful enough to change total reality, not just on Earth, but the whole universe. That's how big. That's what it's trying to ignite. You understand? So who's going to be who was going to be the material that was going to be used for this explosion? Because they had to they had to produce someone, right, that would have power, strong, had enough wisdom, because that's what pressure causes, wisdom, right, to ignite the ultimate explosion, the one that will explode and cover the whole universe. It's a garden as wide as the heavens and the earth. See, that's what quantum is, a garden as wide, the whole creation, heavens and the earth. So they need to ignite that, and took all these different explosions. First, the sealed Bible, that's Isa, then Prophet Muhammad, then the mathematical Christianity, right, with Newton, right? So it's to get to the one they're trying to get to. This is science, and this is God. See, they took it to another level. They took it to another level, the American Empire. So now you see the British, they started. See, this part of theirs. Because I said this explosion was so big, got bigger and bigger and bigger. So it started with the British, because they God and my God together. This part of their explosion is still part of mathematical Christianity. But they took most of Christianity out of it. They were told of mathematics. See, they were told of mathematics. That's why I just got explosion getting bigger. That's why now you see what you see now. Transformed the whole planet. The British transformed the planet. They took it to another level. But transformed the reality to the reality you have right now. See, mathematical Christianity. See, the sealed by Christianity is the skilled scripture. Hope you understand. And then finally, that's the one they're trying to get to. The angel, mathematical Islam, the unsealed Bible, the angel, unsealed scripture. That's the ultimate explosion. See, that's produced Suleiman. Because they had the wisdom, had to produce somebody, right, with that wisdom. But it takes pressure to produce wisdom. So all that pressure produced Suleiman, who would ignite the angel, would change all the reality, turn the whole universe into a paradise. As God is wide as the heavens and the earth. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. It's all mathematics. That's about to happen. See, that's in the process happening now, because all the reality is changing, exploding. This reality is coming to existence now because it's been ignited, right? See, so it's changed. You see everything changing. That's why you see America's already crumbling under this pressure. We think this pressure is coming from. America's already crumbling under this pressure. This is the greatest force of the old reality. America's the greatest. It's the foundation of old reality, and it's under pressure, crushing. So that means when Russia goes down, America goes down, it takes all this reality with it, because it's the foundation of this reality. And this here it is. There's a mathematical part of it. See it? I have it there. And the first stage was Jesus, or Christianity, Prophet Jesus, right? Next stage was Prophet Muhammad. That's the next bomb. The first one caused the second one to explode. The second one caused the next one to explode. Mathematical Christianity. See? And then that caused the final one to explode. That's Suleiman, right? That's the center one. That changed all reality. That's exploding now. Can't stop it, it's already exploding. We understand, brothers and sisters. And what you see there is that the first one down here, right? That was the Roman Empire. Then the Islamic Empire, right? Then this is the British Empire. Next one, see? then the American Empire. Okay. So now we're going to look at it from an angel point of view, connected to, because the same thing. I told you, I keep saying, that's why I want to prove it, that the scriptures are mathematics. So the same thing, and we're going to tie it to scripture, where it says in the angel, right? Angel key. So here's Adam. It says Adam came from the dust of the earth, right? It means European countries. And I'm going into detail about that, but I spoke about that on many occasions. He came from the European country, because Britain is not in Europe. It's British Isles off the coast of Europe. But all the British people, they came from all parts of Europe, right? So Adam came from the dust of the earth. Yes, okay. So that process started with Prophet Jesus 2,000 years ago. It took 500 years for Adam to be completed. See? Then came Prophet Muhammad. See? And Prophet Muhammad, right, he calls it resurrection. The seed up there, that's the seed of Abraham. Right? That's us. We was resurrected, and the Sunnis resurrected. Arabs, both was resurrected at the same time. While Europeans was in dark ages, because Adam was put to sleep for 1,000 years to make Eve. That means that was he was put in deep sleep. The deep sleep was 1,000 years. That was the medieval period, or the so-called dark ages. He was put to sleep in order to bring Eve forward. So that's what's going right, this 1,000-year period, while they're locked up in Europe. Who locked them up? The Islamic Empire locked them up. The Quran, the revealing of the Quran. Prophet Muhammad didn't do it by himself. He did it with the Quran. It was that power, the pressure, the force that was in the Quran. It's like it was the force of the Bible that brought the Roman Empire down. It was the force of the Bible, right? And the force of the Quran that brought the Christian power down. The power of the church brought it down. Then 500 years later, 1,000 years later, right? 50, here comes Eve, America. America came out of Britain after the Dark Age, after a 1,000-year period, right? And they started mathematical Christianity. At the same time, the Renaissance. You can't make this up, brothers and sisters. This is exactly history, right? So that's Gog and Magog now. See, 1500 when they started. See, and we had been resurrected during that period of time, because we was in the northwest coast of Africa, and the Arabs when they resurrected, they tried to make like they was only ones, but they can't explain the Moors. You Google it, they try to make the Moors was okay. No, the Moors was black. That's why they call them the Moors. Some people say because they came out of Morocco, they came out of northwest Africa. They was blacks, right? Black Africans, right? But they was Muslim. They controlled all of Spain for hundreds of years in North and South Italy. And during this time, right, this is when they enslaved us, right? Because America is so-called Eden, where we was enslaved in 1619 to 2019, according to Abrahamic covenant. We was told to submit. Why? Because we are the subject. We are the center. That's why it was brought right here in America, right? America was the focus of that third bomb, right? And we had to be right in the middle, because so that force would be enough. That's why we was brought here. So that force would be enough. That's what we was told to submit. That's what was brought here. In fact, the Bible, I'm gonna get that verse short. The Bible actually says we was brought here for our own good. So what's their own good? Because that pressure is reorganizing us. It's turning us into what we're supposed to be. It's turning us from pressure. Yeah, you want a diamond, you got to put that pressure on. You got to put that coal under pressure. Oh man, I don't want to. Well, you don't want to be a diamond then. This pressure is a slave. It was pressure was going to transform us into diamonds. See, it was hard. It was cruel. It was oppressive, but it's the pressure that we needed to transform us into diamonds. That's what was put right in the center of it, right in the center of America. You understand? What does letter say? The Son of Man, Suleiman, is in the center of the earth, America, experimenting with high explosive. What's high explosive? Experimenting means learning, right? I mean, you got to study it. When you experiment, you're studying. Suleiman had to study the angel. That's the high explosive in the center of America. Brothers and sisters, this is beautiful. And then come Farad, right? in the early point of last century, right? He comes, what? To introduce us, to prepare us for mathematical Islam, right? Not only that, right? But he came, right, to rescue the Levites. See, Elijah's a Levite. He raised the nation of Islam, which is Levite. They're Levites. They're not the elect. They're Levites. They're not a tribe of Judah. They're not a tribe of. They're not the tribe of Shabazz, but they're grafted in tribe. So he came, right, primarily for all of us, but he came specifically, right, to prepare them for this explosion that's about to take place. So they would not be destroyed by the explosion, because they came over here with us. They just brought the tribe of Shabazz over here. They brought Levites over here too. But we're the gold and they're the silver. When you talk about Malachi, he's talking about the gold and the silver. We're the gold and they're the silver. Then he raised Elijah. Elijah's take us out of reverse into neutral. Prepares for this explosion, because they know explosion's coming. He nursed the NOI, right? Prepare them, because he's a messenger to warn them. This explosion's coming. See, this explosion's coming. Let me do something here. This explosion is coming. See? So get prepared. He's preparing them for it. See? So that was, he went up to 1975. See? He's the messenger. But after him came the messenger of the covenant. That means the fulfiller of the covenant. That's the one that's Joshua, take us home. He's the messenger, come and tell us, warn us about it, tell us about it. But the messenger of the covenant is the one that actually fulfills the covenant. And Farah is the God that came to prepare us and to enforce it and to protect. See, to guard that. Because you know explosion's coming. And then interim. And as the scriptures tell us in Exodus, there was an interim period between Elijah and Joshua or Suleiman, right? And that would be Aaron. See, and his whole purpose was to try to prevent that explosion, put a cap on it. See, because he's the enemy. He tried to turn you back to Egypt, have you worship the golden calf. He got all his people destroyed because he was sent in, right? Because if you read this demon-possessed man story, right? The man was out, the possessed man was out of control. Why? Because he wasn't in control, because Elijah Muhammad had broke his chains. So Master could not control him anymore. So he sent the demon son in, right? To get them under control, to put a lid on it. Because remember I said, inside Elijah was changed reality, him alone. And they saw that, and that scared them, because they knew Suleiman would be greater, because they said, John was powerful, but John, it said itself, he wasn't worthy to even shine the shoes of Suleiman. He said, we must be greater than him. He said, he would baptize you with fire, while he was only baptizing you with water. So Elijah scared them. See? And so they knew Suleiman was going to be much worse, because they expect Suleiman to come on 2020. They understand the prophecy of 1619 to 2019. It would be the enslavement, and 2020 would be the plague and the judgment and chastisement. They expect him to show up on 2020. He showed up earlier than they expected. Anyway, that's what's happening here. So that's his purpose, is try to neutralize this bomb, to diffuse it. Because he knows he's going to be blown apart by it too. He's a demon. He would not survive it. His father's the devil. I mean, brothers and sisters, it's right there in the scripture. I'm not making it up, just read it. See, he tells you, well, you don't believe the scripture. Because if you follow the scripture, he's toast. If you follow the scripture, he's toast. But if you follow him, then you can't make sense of the scripture. If you follow him, you can't make sense of the scripture, because the scripture don't make any sense. But if you follow scripture, he don't make any sense. So you follow him, you got to get rid of scripture, because nothing in scripture support that crap he's talking about. But if you follow scripture, you got to get rid of him. You understand what's going on, brothers and sisters? It's not that complicated. And then 2008 comes along Obama. He's also an enemy, right? But we're not going to go into that detail about him right now. The thing is, he comes along. He's the one riding on the white horse in his first seal, right? Go for a conquest. He make 2 conquests. First is president, but the second would be leader of non-Islamic Africa, because Africa is going to segment in 2 parts. Pretty soon, you're going to see it. Right now, it's been a lot of different countries. Soon, it's going to be broken into 2 parts: Islamic Africa and non-Islamic Africa. He's going to be leading non-Islamic Africa in the war. He comes along, right? And let's see. Let's go. Okay, let's back up here. He comes along. He makes this agreement with Iran, because see, Iran is one of the major is one of the principal things, principal countries that put a lot of pressure on America. You can tell what countries are putting pressure, because that's the one that you're trying to adjust. That's when you put on sanctions, everything. That's where you focus on India. That's where you focus. If you're hurting, you're going to focus all your attention on where you're hurting at. So if they're under pressure, they're going to focus their attention on where they experience the most pressure right now is Iran, because they got all these sanctions and everything, because that means that's where they feel the greatest pressure for whatever reasons. And I'm going to that right here. So he made this agreement called JCPOA. See? Because this agreement is going to trigger the war. But he made that agreement in 2015. That's what it's talking about right here, right? We missed something. I don't know if we'll go back to it, but well, let's see. Let's go back right quick. Maybe. Okay, right there, doing fraud, right? Okay, when you during Elijah's time, see, you see empty space for Eve and Adam. Then you see the sun rise and Satan come together. That's when Elijah's time. That means that's when time Suleiman will come on the scene, because it says you would know his conception. He's conceived, right? When you see a star rise in the east, that means he'll be in the west. It means Suleiman will be born in the west. He'll be the same age as the star that rose in the east. One star rose in the east, Satan. That's false Israel. It is conceived in 1948. That means at the same time Suleiman will be conceived. That means they'll be identical age. So you want to find out who Suleiman is, find out someone's identical age. There's more science into that, but because that's why I call Antichrist and everything. I'm not going to that here, but that's what it's talking about right here. They came at the same time. See here? Watch closely. Okay? That's the sun represents Suleiman. He's the high priest, rise to God. They came to see at the same time. You can't make this up. Unless you say, well, he wouldn't change his birth certificate, whatever. So we move on from there. Okay, and then the agreement was supposed to last for 10 years, from 2015 to 2025, whereas that's during the time they're supposed to be getting rid of us. Hillary was supposed to be president. She's supposed to be 8 years after Obama. That took us up to 2014. But in the interim, that's the time they were supposed to have planned to take care of us. But something happened. Time was cut short because this guy came on the scene. He wasn't supposed to, that's why they hate, that's one of the reasons why they hate him so much. But he reversed all the policies they had set up to get rid of us. Abortion, jobs overseas, incarceration, all that kind of stuff. He was reversing all that. That's one of the reasons why I hate it. He wasn't doing it for our sake. He was doing it because those same policies hurt poor whites. That's why I love him so much. He was helping them. But in helping them, he was helping us also. At least that's. But anyway, so here he breaks the agreement. He breaks the agreement after 3.5 years. As it said, it would, if you read chapter 11 of the Injil, it talks about these different times. So So he would break the agreement after 3.5 years, right? 18. That's mid 18 2018, right? He break the agreement. So that means because let's back up here 1 second here. See here where he says Syria and Iran. This is 1990 here, right? See, in other words, they still. This is just before the war. So when the war occurs, right? They, just like I said in chapter 11, right? See, they was kicked out. They was thrown down because America, France, Israel, and Britain, they invaded the Middle East and superseded their power. So now they was the power brokers in the Middle East. They pushed Iran and Syria out the way. That's what it's talking about. That's what it's talking about in the Injil chapter 11, right? So this is the condition they were when Obama came on and scene, right? But he made an agreement, this JCOP, right? Which, as chapter 11 tells you, that they was put under the foot of the nations for 42 months, which is 3.5 years. Foot of the nations means they were under control of the UN for 42 months, which is 3.5 years. They would be under control of the UN. That's what happened because he made this agreement which pushed them right under foot of the nation, under the UN for 42. They would be there for 42 months, for 3.5 years, which would be 15. You can't make this up. 2015, 2018, mid 2018. And that's when Trump killed it. So they was only in that situation for, just like the angel says. See, so angel says, let's go back to this again now. Make sure you understand this. Angel says they will be witnessing against false Israel for 42 years. 1,260 days is 42 months or 42 years, right? So, and that's what happened. They was there for 42 until 1990, which was 42 years from 1948. Exactly, right? In 1991 came the war, which they was pushed down. And so they would be in that position for 24 years. Exactly what happened. They would be in that position right there for 24 years, right? So that would take you to what? That would take you to what I said, to 1990. I mean 48 to 1990, right? 42 years. 1990, 2015, right? That's 24 years. They was there 24 years, right? Obama made the agreement, and then they put on the foot of the nation. They were there for 3.5 years. So it's 1948 to 1990, 1990 to 2000, 1991 to 2015, 2015 to 2018, and mid 2018, they'd be on the foot of the nations. And then it says, and the agreement will be broken, and then they would start rising up, right? Spirit of God came in, the Spirit of God, that God, Satan, that God, right? And it says during that time, they would afflict the nations with the earth, European countries, with as many plagues often as they will. So it took as often they will. And they said there'd be 24 months for this, 2 years, take 2 years to get that position. From 2018 to 2020 is 2 years. So therefore, in 2020, they would produce a plague. So it says, read chapter 20, chapter 11. So that's the plague, right? And they'll overlay in European countries to affect them, and they also affect America and Britain and false Israel. That's what it says there. And it says, see, you see out here, they become the 10th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 9, 10, what said 10th. The 10th of the city fell. They're the 10th of the city. That means Babylon's about to fall. That's what it's talking about. It's the 10th of the city. That's what I mean by that. Okay. So now we're going into a little more detail here. See? Nope. Back up. Okay. Well, just do this. No. Let's see. Can I get used to this? Okay, here we're going to go a little more detail, right? (1948 to 1990), right? They're witnessing that's 42 years, right? Then before the war takes place, that's their witnessing. That's there on top right there. That's what I just talked about, right? That's Iran and Syria. And then the war takes place, right? Papa Bush, war takes place 1991, right? Where they're cast down. Their next place here, right? They're cast down, and they'll be for 3.5 days, which means 3 years plus a half of the 42 years. So you got people that ask 3.5 years. No, because you understand it's 3 days plus one half. One half of what? Half of 20. So that gives you 24 years they'll be in that position until 2015. Okay. Then they would be in this position on the foot of the nations. No, I missed something. Back. Oh, it's up there, right there. There you go. Then they'll be under UN control on the foot of the nations for 42 months. Now notice, first is 42 years, then 24 months. 24 is 42 years and 24 years. The next one is 42 months and 24 months. First is 42 years, and then 24 years, then now it's 42 months and 24 months. 42, 24, 42, 24, but one is years and one is months. So this one here, they're in this situation for 42 months, which is 3.5 years, until the agreement was broken in 2018 and a half for the UN. Okay. Then the agreement will be broken. 2018, mid-2018, Trump breaks the agreement, right? And we'll also see the plague in 2020. No. The plague starts, right? In other words, let me back up here. He breaks the agreement. He breaks the agreement here. So, and that leads to the plague that happens in 2020. Because they say they don't know where the plagues come from. First it was China, but now they're saying, well, maybe it didn't come from China. They're kind of confused. The angel says it's coming from Iran. Says Farah says, I will give this plague, I will send this plague on America, right? On Egypt. Egypt represents all of the European countries that will kill the firstborn, that means elderly, right? So, and it tells you the Shia are the one, his angels. It's Michael and his angels. Michael is Pharaoh and the Shia is angels. And they tell you in chapter 11 that they're the ones that spread this plague. Because China, remember the first two nations mostly affected by this plague, the first two was Iran and China. So you figure it out. So then, I missed something in here. Yeah, I did. Okay. Then it says, right, that it leads to war. Because it says they're not going to join the JCPOA because they'll be under the nations. Angel said they move up. That means they move back in their original position. They kick America, falls Israel, and Britain out of the Middle East. Remember, they went there in 1999, but they kicked them out. So that means a war because they kicked them out. They don't go back to JCPOA. That's why it's very important. Because that's the question right now. Are they going back to JCPOA, or are they going to war? Because that's the question they're saying now. Europe is already threatened. Britain, France, and Germany is already threatened Iran. If they don't go back to stop enriching uranium and mess with this metallic uranium, that they're going to military, they threaten them not with sanctions, but military action. And America's already sending more B-52s over there now. They got submarines in the Gulf of Hormuz, right? Nuclear powered, right? The B-52s they sent over here are nuclear capable. So that's what's going on right now. So so that's the thing. But Angel says they're not going back. It says going up, not down. That's what you need to watch. And they talk about not much, because the thing is, they said that Iran could break out anytime with nuclear device. They don't want that. They say it could be within weeks or months. That means we're at a critical point. This has to happen. They need to go back to JCPOA, or they go into war. That's the question. That's the only question the angel tells us right now. That's why it's very important. Pay attention and watch the JCPOA and what happens there. Because they go into war, and that's soon. They're telling you, they can't, they're telling you, they says, we can't wait. Iran said, no, you got to stop this sanction, all that kind of stuff, right? And they said, no, you got to go to JCPOA first. And they said, no. And they, like I said, and you got a time frame here, because the breakout could be like weeks, or because they don't, like I said, they don't know what Iran's doing, because they got all kinds of secret facilities over there. That's what's going on. That's what you need to pay attention to, brothers and sisters. Exactly what's going on right now. See, so the angel says, no, they're going up. They said, so that means they're going to go to war. They're not going JCPOA. That's the question now. Are they going? That's the question. Either they go. That's the question online. Either they go JCPOA or they go on to war. That's what they're telling you. And here you see, they go to war, and that's when Gog and Magog, as the 10th city fell, that's when Gog and Magog fell, right? America goes to war. America's now at war with Europe, war with China, right? They kicked out of the Middle East, not going back. See? And also, you see Gog and Magog is covering the black people of America. That means they're attacking them. See? See, we see Levi, that's the Nation of Islam. Demons, that's Christian blacks. Demons and the saints, right? The demons, the chaff and the wheat, right? That's where they are right now. So now I've attacked them. See, they're going to attack. See? But when they attack, it's igniting, right? See, the explosion, the night is the secondary aspect. The primary aspect, ignition of the final ultimate bomb, the engine has already happened. This igniting the final stage of it, where all black folks come, because the pressures, remember, the pressure push everything together. Pressure push everything together, and that when it's pushed all together, then the explosion happens. So it's ignited, so now everything's under pressure, right? So now the thing is that at this point, it's at critical mass. That's when just before it's about to explode, everybody's pushed together, right? The demon saints, everybody that's the resurrection, right? But America and America, see, they're surrendering. They're surrendered to the Middle East, and now they've been kicked. Their ass been kicked all over the world, in Europe and every place else. And then there's the resurrection right there. You see the demons and the saints all raised together. See, everything's pushed together now. It reached critical mass. See, at that time, the four winds blow. See, four winds of fire trigger the final blast. It's four winds that blow. They're raised. I'm not skipping. I'm going here. I'm not going every little dotting every I and crossing every T here, because you get to the main point. That's what happened. So anyway, it comes together. The demons are removed. See, Solomon's in charge. Suleiman's in charge. Okay? And then demons are separated. demon-possessed man, demon separate out, legion, Farrakhan is legions, the demons, right? He's legion, and demons are separated, thrown out to back to the swine daddies, back into the fire. That's what's happening here, right? And where are we? We've been delivered. Time of unprecedented trouble. We're delivered. We're back because the Shia is not coming over here, so that means we're back over there. See? We've been delivered. Michael, as it says, Michael will rise and deliver, right? Those in the Lamb's Book of Life. But there's two groups that remain behind. See, the demons and the saints. One everlasting life, one everlasting shame and department. That means they're not delivered, so they have to go through tribulation. But they make the tribulation, then they get home. They have to go the scenic route. See? That's the ark. We're home. Back in Arabia. See? But we have to fight once we get there. Because those people, Faraz already took the land. He's already defeated the dragon. He got rid of all the principles, authorities. But now the people still live there. And that means Joshua had to fight. His army, they had to fight, right? To take land back because those students are not giving it up. Because they say it's theirs. It's not theirs. It doesn't belong to you, Ishmael. It belongs to us. This is the ark, right? The ark had 9 people on it. Read about the ark. That's the ark right there. See? And there's the flood. See? Once we're going over there, that's where China and India and Obama with his non-Islamic army, they invade America first, takes it down. That's the flood. It's a flood of humanity, not water. 200 million man army. Only India and China can produce an army that even Africa can, because if you put Africa together, it's over 1 billion people there also. See, so now you got this huge army, right? They take down America first, and then they take down the rest of Europe. So it covers the whole earth. Europeans represent the earth. That's it. They're gone. That's the end of them. See, end of Gog and Magog. That's the end. Okay, brothers and sisters and brothers, that's their end. Hope you understand. I try to give it to the strictly mathematical point. That I put the merge the mathematics with the scripture. Show you that it's all mathematics. I've got to lift you up to the mathematical thinking. Trying to get you up to the mathematical thinking. Very simple once you get it. See, so I try to show how the scripture conform exactly. It's all mathematics. Okay, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Keep your eye on the JCPOA, because the clock is ticking now. Clock is ticking. Assalamu alaikum.